things I wish I knew before becoming a pilot. Number one, get your instructor. If you're selecting a type of education where you want to fly on your own schedule and your own study program, and you don't want to go to flight school and just fly with your instructor, it's important to get the right flight instructor. I did not know that you can choose and select your instructor and even change him when you get one. So it's really important to get the right instructor. During the process when I was looking for one, I've interviewed a lot of my friends who also fly, and I eventually found my guy who's all about safety, who's all about knowledge, the weather, and all things important. And he, has 12,000 hours of flight time, so he is super skilled. The way I approached him is really talked about, start flying with him and just trying to get a feel for his educational techniques and methodology. For me, it was important that I am an audio learner, and I'd like to learn by person talking to me. So he was kind of an introvert, and he was telling a lot of different stories and doing his education through storytelling, which is great for me. So it was a great match, and I did an interview for him. Basically, I interviewed him for an hour, asking all those questions. What is your style of education, and how do you approach your curriculum? Do you have a study plan, etc., etc., etc.? And all things checked out, and I really like the guy. Furthermore, if you don't like the guy, if you don't like the instructor, you should definitely look for another one. You should change, you should try other people, you should find your ideal match, because you'll spend a lot of time in the airplane with this person and throughout your life, because he will become your mentor, and that's important to get the right person. Number 2, radio talk. I was intimidated by the radio talk on the air traffic controller frequencies, and I was really scared of talking to the ATC and talking to the radio and on the radio with other pilots and air traffic controllers. But it turns out to be not a huge deal. So right around 10 hours of flight, you kind of get used to that radio talk, and as you learn those phrases, it's essentially your own language. So you just communicate with specific set phrases, and it becomes much easier to understand what you hear and what to expect from other people to tell you. So just don't be intimidated. I was intimidated at first, but then later on, as things progressed, you kind of get used to it. Your brain adapts, and now when I fly, I just have fun, and sometimes you don't understand what another person is telling you, and that's fine. You can just say, hey, say again, or if you're still a student pilot, you can say, hey, say again, student pilot. And if you completely don't understand what's happening and what's going on, you can always say, student pilot, plain English. Or I don't understand, repeat, plain English, student pilot. And obviously, ATC now at this point knows you don't understand a complex procedure or something that he told you, and he just walks you through that really easily. The aviation community is all about helping, and ATCs and other pilots will help you if you don't understand. Just speak out and say, hey, I did not understand, or say again. And there are a great book on radio talk. I think it's called Say Again, you can learn that. So just you learn that by doing. It's not as hard as I thought it was. Number 3, training can be expensive, and I didn't realize how expensive this could be if you just study on your own schedule. Let alone you have to rent an airplane if you don't go to flight school, because there are two types of education you can get. You go to flight school, you pay about $10,000 to $15,000, spend about 2 to 3 months and get your license. But you have to be committed. You have to do that full time. In my case, I've selected to study for the private pilot license on my own schedule with my own instructor, basically renting an airplane as renting a car on my own time, and booking my instructor to fly with me. So when you do that, you basically pay per hour for the airplane, and you also separately pay for your instructor. And the prices vary. Here in Palo Alto, an average price for an airplane per hour is about $170 per hour to rent an airplane. For an instructor, it can run you anywhere from $60 an hour to $110 an hour. My instructor charges $110 just because he's on the more experienced side. He's been flying a lot, and he's one of the best. He has a gold seal. I think it is a standard or a license from the FAA, not the FAA, but the test facility. So he's been doing a lot of good educational stuff and doing a lot of graduating a lot of pilots. So in my case, so far to date, I've flown 90 hours, which is way beyond the private pilot license. I kind of got stuck on the knowledge test just because of the lack of the time. The education is roughly around $15,000 to $18,000 for me in the span of 2 years. So if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, if you do it throughout 1 year or year and a half, but just on your own schedule, it's not as expensive. You probably end up spending $1,000 a month on your flying hobby, basically. And you can, on your own schedule, you can really select when you want to fly, when you want to spend more money and less money. So pay attention how to do that. There are certain ways to save. You can get initial training on gliders, and gliders are much cheaper to rent because there's no engine, and get your instructors a little further away from more expensive areas like this, Palo Alto and Silicon Valley. So you can get your license at anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000. That's what you'd expect. There are other things that you can, number 4, there are many things that you can use your private pilot license for once you get it. Unfortunately, you cannot make a lot of money just having a private pilot license because you have to progress and get your commercial to get paid to what you do. But you can utilize your license to fly around and show sceneries to your friends. You can also become an instructor or a salesman for just selling airplanes. So you not necessarily making money flying, but you make money selling airplanes, and you also know everything there is to know about airplanes because you fly yourself. You can also fly charitable missions for charity, and basically it's flying for free, but sometimes you need to transport some dogs or animals or expensive puppies, and there's all sorts of missions that you can choose and get a part of a community and get those missions to do them for free. But basically, this is for your own fun. You cannot make a lot of money just doing it, and unless you start getting your CFI license or commercial pilot license, so you get hired and get paid flying airplanes. But it's a lot of fun. What is better to get up in the air in a plane like this, take your friends out, show them around, and give them the perspective on Earth from the view that nobody else can see. You're not flying as airliners too high. You're flying really close to the ground, and you see all this beauty right there, and it's just mesmerizing. Number 5, there are many other aviation industries that you can go to. Not only learning how to fly, becoming a pilot, but also you can go and learn how to become an ATC, air traffic controller, or go to a maintenance routes where you can literally learn how to fix airplanes. And airplanes always in maintenance, so there's always schedules and there's always work, which is great. So there's so many different industries where you can apply the knowledge, and having a private pilot license is great because it helps you to understand the whole industry, know where you can go, where you can apply your skills, and so go ahead and join the journey. Try and go to your local airport, try and get your demo flight, fly around, see how you feel and how you like it. And I hope those tips will help you to make better decisions and make less mistakes getting your private pilot license. If you like the content, please subscribe. Leave comments below with your questions. I'd like to hear the feedback and answer those questions in the next video. And right after this, you'll get a little bonus from the guy who's been flying for more than 35 years. And here you go.
Just pay a lot of attention to learning all about the rules and regulations. There's a lot more to flying than just flying the airplane. It's airspace knowledge. Also, make use of the FAA facilities in terms of radar advisories whenever you go anywhere, especially in a busy airspace like this. Don't be bashful about asking for advisories if you're going to make a trip. Those are the main things.
How long have you been flying?
Longer than since the 70s. I've been doing charter work since the 15, 16 years now.